Well, having managed to get the squad back on side, just about, they now have to answer the question in today's episode: can we solve the Celtic problem? Hello and welcome back to Unemployed to Legend, Club 2, Episode 14 with Dundee United. My name is Craig, and coming up in today's video we have two matches. First up, away at Celtic in the league, and then we're going to skip forward a little bit and go and play Hertha Berlin in the Europa League phase. Now, if you go on to enjoy this episode, make sure to hit the like button down below, smash the big red subscribe button, especially as we're starting to hit the midpoint of the season. And well, you know what, touch all the wood right now. It's looking decent since you were last with me. Form has thankfully remained good. Where was the last time I was with you? I think it was the Livingston game in September. Yeah, there's been a few draws and a couple of defeats mixed in, but otherwise we've just tried to rack up as many points as humanly possible. We got knocked out the Premier Sports Cup in the semi-final. I said I wasn't focusing on that too much, so that's absolutely fine. But other than that, we have tried to maintain as good of a start in the Premiership as possible. And as you can see, we are only 1 point behind Celtic in the top two of the Scottish Premiership. Which does mean today's clash is a top of the table clash. If we win, which we have done at Celtic Park before, we go top of the Scottish Premiership. But of course, Celtic are a bit of a problem in that as much as they've dropped a few points this season, not as many draws as us, they are still smacking teams in this league. Queen of the South 5-0, Kilmarnock 7-0. Inverness, actually that's a Premier Sports Cup match. Queen of the South again 5-1. Hibernian 3-0. This is ridiculous. This team is almost unstoppable, and it's not really that hard to figure out why. If we just go to the season preview, look at the Media Dream 11. That's all Celtic players, all of them. Hang on, Raya? Yeah, even Raya. Oh my gosh, yeah, the entire. Ooh. That's looking a bit tasty, isn't it? The Europa League, in the meantime, looking much better. We have 10 points after 5 games. I've picked up my first points and first victories in European competition in this series. So we're looking very good to qualify for at least the knockout playoff round. And that actually includes a 2-0 victory away at Marseille. We beat Marseille on their own turf with 10 men, even though we were 2-0 up by then. Christopher Wu did get sent off. So hopefully he'll be the fresh man for this match, because he didn't play against Astana in the last match. He missed it through suspension. So here's hoping. I was going to say, I thought that was actually one of our main players. We've got Brechin or Singeta in the Scottish Cup 4th round. I didn't even know that was actually happening today. It's fine. It is whatever. We are focused totally on the league and the Europa League this season. The Scottish Cup, if we get to a final, then fine. We will try and win it. And just before we get into the match itself, just a bit of closure. The managerial support is looking much better now. We are back up to good. And I think that started happening after the last 2 or 3 results. The Marseille result was a very, very clear reason for why this managerial support actually went up. You can't see it behind my head actually, but Kwame Poku is unhappy. In fact, he is unhappy, but he hasn't got the support of everybody anymore. As you can see, I think there's about 5 players who are still supporting him. Everybody else is kind of satisfied now, or a bit more happy. So that's a big part of the reason why the managerial support as well has started going back up, which I needed, because otherwise to wait until January when we might be able to sell on Poku, that's a long time to be waiting and treading water. So this is going to be the 11 we're going to send out against Celtic. We are not going attacking, by the way. Jeez, I'm mad for doing that. Vickers is in goal. A back four: Strap, Marquez, Wu and Curtis, with Thomason and Mane at the base of the midfield. It's worth noting O'Donnell is suspended for this match, so hopefully he'll be back for the Hertha Berlin game. Gabriel Sara is also injured. He's back in the next few days, so we'll hopefully see him again for Hertha Berlin. Andre Green on the left wing, Rankin Costello in for Banshiki. Good reason for that. Costello, he appears to be more informed than Banshiki these days, so I'm saving Banshiki for more important matches, / just let him sit out 1 or 2 matches to make him think about the fact he's not performing as well. Ramon Enriquez in attacking midfield with Ross Stewart up front. And Ross Stewart has been playing ahead of Johnny Kenny in the last month or two because he's been in such great form. 11 goals in 15 games. Whereas for Kenny, he's still banging goals. 16 goals in 19 appearances, but he's just dropped off heavily in the last month. So if this is his period where he's just not scoring as many goals, but Ross Stewart is, just let Ross Stewart have the time and hopefully he'll continue banging in goals. In fact, I think he got a hat-trick against Astana in our last game. We went 3-0. We went 3-0 up. It was a first half hat-trick. I think he got it. Certainly if it wasn't that game he got it in, then it was at least another Europa League game because he was amazing. So what are my hopes for this match? I would happily take a draw, to be honest with you, because as I know we've beaten Celtic before as we tried to win the ball there, and oh, for goodness sake, did we just give away a penalty? Oh, it's just a meme at this point, isn't it? Come on, Vickers, please. You've saved a few recently. I don't expect it again and again and again, but please just help us out. Oh, he went the wrong way. Oh, 5.5 minutes. We're already 1-0 down. Fantastic. I will take a draw at this point, actually. Yeah, just completely sent the wrong way. Oh, it's just the same old against Celtic, isn't it? It is the Celtic problem. Good save by Vickers there. As much as we improve this squad, season on season on season, it just feels like Celtic just take another 5-6 steps above where anybody else should be. They just seem impossible to catch more often than not. Rangers have had a fairly bad start to the season. They have started recovering though. But I've noticed they've not spent as much on their squads as, say, Celtic. Even Hibernian. Hibernian are actually looking really, really good now. I'd say they're definitely a top 3 side as well now. So we're trying to compete with them as well as Celtic, as we just can't even get the ball back off Celtic here. It's really frustrating. They're just passing it around us. It just feels like in this year's FM, if your squad is nowhere near as good as your opponents, you get punished very, very heavily. Oh my god, it's just off the post. You get punished very, very heavily. But if you're better than other teams, you absolutely smash them. And actually, I didn't mention, we did that to Queen of the South? Yeah, we did that to Queen of the South. We smashed them 8-2 away from home. Yet we somehow drew with Kilmarnock 0-0 away from home. So I don't know. Although that was after the managerial support went to Paul. That's probably a good reason why. Either way, half-time, 1-0, and it was an early goal that undid us against Rangers when we lost against them 1-0. They scored after just 3 minutes. But for some reason, we conceded here again, and Celtic have just been like, we're just going to sit back, we're just going to relax. No pressure, lads. So what needs to change here? You know what? I think Enriquez needs to come back on support. Rankin Costello. Is this somewhere? Andre Green looks nervous. If we put Enriquez to the the left-hand side, and then we put Banshiki on the right, we do also have Kwame Poku on the bench. Irony. He might actually see some game time today. Lewis Strapp is looking tired, but we don't have another left back on the... Oh, we do. Oh, we have Rankin Costello, don't we? So we'll keep an eye on that for the second half. Let's just go and see if we can improve. I want to see something different from us, not the opposition. Then, of course, Celtic start with the highlights. And it goes over. I honestly don't know how to counter this. It does feel disappointing that we get within 1 point of Celtic going into this match, and then Celtic just dominate us anyway. As well done by Rankin Costello. That's a big part of the reason why he does play. Because he does work very, very hard for the team. As okay, we get the ball back there. Woo, cleaning up. Vickers just launches it, and Stewart's the one thing I don't like about Ross Stewart. He doesn't jump for the ball. He will when he's about to score a goal, but he doesn't when it comes to trying to win a ball, which does not make sense. And that's 2-0, and it's Hannibal. Why they got Hannibal? Wait, they got Hannibal in. What? This is a player that, for the last, including this FM, I've been looking at him for the last 2 FMs, wondering should I bring him in, and then Celtic bring him in. and they just do that. Oh my goodness, right, you know what, this is clearly not working, so we're just going to have to make a couple of changes. Rankin Costello is going to have to drop back to left back, and Mikey Johnston is going to come in on the left. Goodness me. Marquez is going to go off for O'Connor. Oh boy, Ross Stewart has not had a good game, so Johnny Kenny is going to come on. And we're going to save that final change for a little bit later. There's no point making all 5 at once. But oh my goodness. I reiterate it is the Celtic problem. Oh my god, even from there they hit the bar. In this situation, what would you do? You, as the viewer, what would you do in this situation against Celtic? Because I'm kind of at a loss for words of really what to do. And you know what, we're just going to sling Kwame Poku on. Because why not? Why not? What's the worst that can happen with regards to Poku? If he gets sent off, it just means I won't have to bother playing him. Well, again, I just wouldn't play him again. But that is going to be a 2-0 loss against a side who we were hoping to challenge at the top of the league. And it was pretty comprehensive. I mean, wow, they just dominated us. Oh boy, we're still nowhere near Celtic. We are still nowhere near their level. We're going to have to get some absolute superstars in to just try and even come close to them. Still second in the league, so what we're going to do, we're going to do those 2 league games offline, and then we're going to come back for the Europa League, where we might have better fortune against Hertha Berlin. Maybe. Right, 2 league victories later, and the Premiership is looking decent again. 2 points behind Celtic, who actually dropped points against Motherwell about 2 games ago, which frustrating when Motherwell can get a result against them, but we can't. But either way, we remain in touch and distance against Celtic as it stands. Now we go and focus on the Europa League against Hertha Berlin. How are Hertha Berlin doing in the Bundesliga, by the way? Oh, they're 12th? Oh, I thought they were much closer to the top. They're well off the pace against the likes of Munich and Dortmund. Okay, fair enough. I mean, we're facing a mid-table Bundesliga side. I still say they're stronger than us because the Bundesliga in general is just stronger than us. Anyway, we do have a fresh injury for this match, and unfortunately that is Ross Stewart, who is out with a foot injury. He is going to be out for up to another 3 weeks, so we'll see him hopefully back for the next episode, but for now, yeah, he's going to be a bit of a miss against Hertha Berlin, although Kenny has come back into the side and in the last 2 games has banged in 6 goals. Welcome back to form, Johnny Kenny, long may it continue. So the starting 11 for this match: Vickers in goal, back 4 Strap, O'Connor, Wu and Curtis, with O'Donnell and Enriquez at the base of the midfield, Green on the left wing, Banjaki is in on the right wing, Gabriel Sara in attacking midfield, he's back from injury, with Kenny up front. And in form, Johnny Kenny is always going to be a threat. I just want to reiterate that even though we are trying to... that was so close, Vickers completely missed that ball there. As much as we're trying to improve not only Dundee United's hopes in the Scottish Premiership and a good European run to boot, but also we are trying to improve Scotland's standing within Europe because they have slipped down the leagues, as I've mentioned in a previous episode. I want to reiterate the fact that this is a journeyman save, so as much as we're trying to improve clubs, I'm also trying to improve my standing within the game, as Gabriel Sara has a shot on goal and comes to nothing. But I'm trying to improve my standings in the game, and I haven't actually showed much of my own profile in recent episodes. I am now a Continental B licence. I'm studying for the Continental A, which means my reputation is slowly rising, and it's showing in the fact that we are starting to get job interviews while I'm off camera from EFL Championship clubs in England, but also other clubs in other countries, such as in the Belgian Pro League, which I've now loaded into the game. So if job offers are coming in now, slowly but surely, if we get a bigger club effectively coming in, as Johnny Kenny has stolen in here, should have probably put that one in the back of the net, but it was a good opportunity. If a club with a higher reputation comes in, I will be considering it, because who am I to turn down a potentially bigger job if one comes along? Would I consider someone like Hertha Berlin a bigger job? I mean, they're in a bigger league, the Bundesliga, and a chance to try and take on Bayern Munich, which is an even bigger task than trying to take on Rangers and Celtic, quite honestly. I'm going to throw Hibernian in there as well, because they are effectively a top 3 side now as well. Hibernian actually beat Rangers while I was off camera, so they are a very, very big threat, as Gabriel Sara's just given the ball away there. Not very happy with that, and that is 1-0. And it seems I was right in that the Bundesliga teams are always going to be bigger than the Scottish Premiership teams. Certainly I know league reputations can improve, but it takes a long time. And the problem I'm going to always have with Dundee United, certainly for years to come, is the fact that players, certainly bigger players, will not want to come to us. And it's always going to be a struggle, especially when it comes to trying to improve in Europe. I mean, I'm picking up points as a manager. I'm picking up points with teams out in Europe, or Dundee United anyway. But against teams like Hertha Berlin, it's going to be a big struggle. It's half time, 1-0. We're underdogs. Let's just go with the whole underdog story, because we are against Hertha Berlin. I know we beat Marseille, which was a very impressive result, and it's a shame I couldn't put that in an episode. I was coming back too soon, and I didn't expect anything from that game. But it was impressive, and it gave me a bit of hope going into this match. But unfortunately, the hope just quite isn't there at the moment. Gabriel Sara is going to come off. Enriquez is going to go into that attacking midfield role. Mane is going to go in central midfield. And what I'm thinking, actually, Enriquez is going to be on support. Just thinking, is there any other changes that could be made? Banjiki is looking tired. Is Rankin Costello not? He's not registered. Dang. Okay. Right, Banjiki's going to have to stay on for the moment then. Nothing else that can be done about that. If Rankin Costello was actually registered, it would have been easier. I am looking to move on overall. Oh my gosh, 2-0. I actually thought that ball was going to get cleared, so that's why I hadn't actually spoken yet. Came back just in time just to see Berlin go 2-0 up. I think this is one of those episodes where we've just seen how far off the pace we are against like the bigger teams. But I feel, are we in the shop window to try and find a bigger team? Or rather hoping a bigger team will come in for us? Because quite frankly, I don't think we are going to be able to be competing against the big boys of Europe on a regular basis. Wu is absolutely shattered, so you know what. Marquez is going to come on. Ferrisage will come on for Andre Green. Those are just Western players. Thomason will come on for O'Donnell. It's just very disappointing. There's no other way of putting it. Against Celtic, I thought we might have an opportunity. Nope. Against Hertha Berlin, I had a little bit of hope. Nope. It's kind of fallen flat today, result-wise. 2 back-to-back 2-0 defeats. No one played well. I mean, it's not the end for us in the Europa League. Didn't like what I saw from us. It's not the end for us in the Europa League. If we just look at this, yeah, we're 14th. We still have a chance of going into the next round. There's 2 games left, and we're 4 points clear. So if we win one of our last 2 games, we will be into the knockout playoff rounds, which will be very handy for us. So that's exactly what we're going to do in the next episode. We're going to come back for the Fenerbahce and the Young Boys game. Win one of those 2 games, we are into the knockout playoff round. I've got to reiterate the fact that we need to do that because we need the sweet money. We achieved a little bit of money, and we got a little bit more money for that. Was the game on TV? Oh, the game was on TV. Okay, that makes sense. And we played at home as well. Fantastic. But the finances looking a little healthier, and we want to keep that going as much into the season as is possible. Europa League episode coming up on Friday. If you have enjoyed this episode, make sure that you hit the like button down below and smash the big red subscribe button, as we hope to run as far in the Europa League as is humanly possible. Money reasons. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate the supports that you've shown on this channel so far. I appreciate you all, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode.